Good morning. Welcome to Walking Boxing. It is Saturday, May 31st, 2025. And got to say, I'm a little bit sore this morning. Had a little bit of an incident last night at the pub. Some dirty scumbag shoplifter tried to make a run for it. And yours truly decided to give chase. And I got the little prick, but in the process of doing it, I actually come a cropper. I had him, and he's fallen over at the last second, and I've gone down with him and whacked my head on the ground. And not sure, you probably can't see it there, but got a cut over the eye, small little cut. Looked like back in the boxing days. Cut over the eye, a bit of blood down the cheek. And but more that was easily just cleaned up. But I tell you what, I landed on my the rest of my body. My wrist today is nice and swollen and very, very sore. So I'm not sure I'm going to have to go get an X-ray, but I'm really struggling at the moment to hold this camera up. But the things we do, and I must have fallen on my chest too, because I've got a really sharp pain in my chest, not the heart, but just the chest bones or muscles or something. So anyway, the things we do when you're 50 years of age. Should be wake up yourself, Lyndon, but instinct kicks in, and you gotta protect what's yours. He was stealing something that's mine, and the funny thing is, I know this is the boxing video, by the way, but I'm sure you'll all like funny stories. But when he took off, because he just grabbed some stuff off the counter, because our bottle shop you can't actually go into. It's only a really small bottle shop. So you get to the door, and there's a counter, but then there's a gate that goes into all the fridges. So because of that exact reason, because there's little bastards shoplift and grab stuff, and so we don't let them in the shop. We get it for them. But there was some stuff on the counter. So he's grabbed them and made a run for it, but he didn't sort of really get a grasp of how pissed he was. Because he went to run, and I think he realised, I'm not in a good shape here. He was sort of running in a little bit of slow motion at arms and legs everywhere, and I wasn't much better because I'm at 50 years of age and not the best runner out there. And but yeah, I got the little bastard. Didn't bother calling the cops, by the way. Why would you? Just got our stuff back off him and sent him on his way. But this day and age, it's pretty dangerous out there having a business. But a little bit sore and sorry for myself this morning. But anyway, on to the boxing. Sorry to take up, about 2.5 minutes of that, by the way, but I thought you might find it amusing. I'll tell you what's not amusing, though, is my arm at the moment. But anyway, all right, on this day, 1975, Mexico's Rodolfo Martinez knocked out Colombia's Nestor Jimenez in 7 rounds to defend his WBC bantamweight title. That was in Colombia. In 1975, also, where was that? That's Rodrigo Valdez knocked out Argentina's Ramon Mendez in 8 rounds for the WBC middleweight title. What else have we got there? 2008, Mexico's Oscar Larios defeated Venezuela's Fida Viloria in 5 rounds to win the WBC featherweight title. And 2014, Mexico's Carlos Quadros, very, very good fighter, beat the great Thai fighter Srisakat Sorungvasai. I think that's how you pronounce it. I always just that mad little Thai. That's how I always sort of think of him. The guy that knocked out Chocolatito. And that fight took place in Mexico City. But also on this day, in 1938, Henry Armstrong became the first fighter ever to hold 3 world titles simultaneously in 3 different divisions. He beat Barney Ross on a 15-round decision to win the world welterweight title. And this is the days too, by the way, where it wasn't all the different sanctioning bodies and you could just pick and choose your belts and just keep moving up and down and all over the place, and just depending on what sanctioning body you were friendly with, get some favours and all that sort of stuff. No, this was the World Championship, 1 belt. And Henry Armstrong had 3 at the same time. So not just his 3rd title, 3 at the same time. And it was just his 11th fight for the year, by the way. 11th of 14 that he had for the year in 1938. They built him differently back then, didn't they? A little bit different though back then. They had to fight to obviously survive. and the paydays weren't anywhere near, in comparison to what they are today, of course. So you actually had to fight for your living over there, not have one fight every year and act like a spoiled brat. No, they were real fighters back then, and 14 fights in 1938 as a world champion, by the way, not just a prospect coming up. He was the world champion. So, so what a feat by Henry Armstrong. All right, so I'm just going to switch hands there. Now, a little bit of news in the last since yesterday, of course, the World Boxing, the amateur organisation, have stated, I suppose that's the word, stated that the transgender boxers from the Olympics, was it what was the name? Can't remember, I did have it written down, but there was 2 of them at the Olympics. They've both been told that if they want to compete at the next Olympics, they must complete sexuality tests, something like that anyway. So not just these people, every competitor apparently in all world boxing events, and now they are back in charge, a different organisation, but a separate body through the Olympic Committee, because the Olympic Committee took the Olympics at the last Olympics, took control, and they let those boxers compete. But now that World Boxing is in charge, they have stated that if you're going to compete at any of the tournaments, including Olympics, World Championships, all that sort of stuff, every boxer must take a sexuality test. I'm not sure if that's the right word, to test for XY chromosomes. And I know we all became experts, scientific experts during the Olympics last year. Was it last year, whenever it was? The year before? Was it last year? Whenever it was. It seemed like every day everyone was having their say and giving their opinion. But look, if I'm going to give my opinion again, I'll welcome it. Now, nothing against these 2 people, but at the end of the day, I think, again, without going over all the ground that we did last time, and again, everyone being experts, I just want a level playing field. And if it's not just these 2, but all boxers, give them a test. And, obviously 99.999% of boxers, we all sort of know what they are, but the ones that aren't, or that we don't and want to compete at in different gender divisions, well, just this will solve all that controversy. Who knows whether there'll be legal challenges and all that sort of stuff, because in the case of the Algerian, she might say, all right, your test says I'm a male, but I'd still identify as a female, and I'm going to go to the Human Rights Commission and all that sort of stuff, and legal action and all those sort of things. Who knows? But I think any organisation should be able to, decide their own rules. And if you don't agree with it, well, that's a little bit of bad luck. We're seeing it a lot more often. I just read an article yesterday, actually, in netball here around these parts here. There was a transgender person who looked like was about 6'3" and about 150 kilos, by the way, playing netball against young girls. So look, whatever your opinion on is, well, that's up to you. But my opinion is, you can identify as whatever the hell you want to identify as, but just don't bring it into the sports sector, because people can get hurt, especially in a sport like boxing, obviously. So without going again over old ground again and getting on our soapbox, I'm happy that the World Boxing have said that, look, if you want to compete, you've just got to have the test, and if you pass the test and you have, I can't remember what chromosome is what, but if you have the male chromosome, then you're not allowed to compete, and I'll welcome it, and just to protect everyone. So again, I know people have their say, but that's my opinion anyway. Now, I did see the Chavez-Paul pay-per-view has been released. Now, I've seen a couple of different reports, by the way. There was one report that said it was $59.99. There's another one that said it was just a flat $50. I'm not really sure which one is correct, but either way, are you kidding me? Now, granted, the undercard's okay. It's got Farmer and Schofield on the undercard. Holly Holmes making a comeback if you're in the female stuff. Zurdo Ramirez and Porticos are on there as well. So it's not a bad undercard, but I would really like to know whether you're going to pay anywhere between $50 and $60 for that card. Now, when they did the Mike Tyson-Jake Paul fight, they handled it beautifully. They put it on Netflix and it worked a treat. They had 65 million people watching that fight. that is the way I think it should be done to get so many more eyeballs on the event. I'm sure they can create revenue in different ways. I'm sure there's 65 million people watching, not that they'll get it for all fights, of course, that was just a one-off, but if you've got a pay-per-view and you got, well, I'm assuming that would get maybe a couple of 100,000, if that would watch that card. The advertising revenue and all that sort of stuff will be so much bigger if it was on Netflix free, and they might get, they still might get 5 to 10 million people that might watch it, or maybe more. It's free, so they might even get 10 or 15 million watch it if it's free. The advertising streams or revenue streams available would just be massive, and maybe that would balance out the pay-per-view sector, because I just don't see how people are going to pay for it. Real boxing fans aren't going to pay. Are all the little YouTubers going to fork out 50 to 60 bucks to watch Jake Paul? I'm not sure. It's one thing to watch free content on YouTube and all the rest of it, and the free Netflix fight with Mike Tyson, but when those same people have got to pay 50 to 60 bucks, I'd be probably staggered if it even did 200, might be 100, 150. I just think they've missed the boat on this one, and just put it on Netflix or any streaming device and just give it for free, because that's all it's worth. But anyway, 50 to 60 bucks. Is this what we're going to be going forward, by the way? Is it just going to constantly be to watch boxing going forward? It's all going to be behind the paywall, no matter what it is. And not just boxing, by the way, but all sports. Everything is going to be behind a paywall. Because when you think about it, mainstream TV is pretty much dead. All they have on mainstream TV, and that's probably all around the world, not just here in Australia, it's reality shows and sport and news. That's about it. But when you look at it, if the sports sector, and it's going now, we've even seen it with boxing, ESPN have let it go. Here with the football here in Australia, I'm not sure what it's like with the rugby league, but with AFL, on a Saturday now, you cannot watch free-to-air football on free-to-air, well, AFL football on free-to-air TV on a Saturday. It's all on Fox TV, Fox Footy, Fox TV, whatever it is. So is it going to get to the point where, the mainstream fizzles out? News, we get our news. This is the thing. Do you ever sort of sit down and watch the 6 o'clock news anymore? I haven't done it for years. Lots and lots of years, actually. I get on social media. That's how I get my news. Websites and social media sites, that's how I get my news. So news pretty much is obsolete. Sport is becoming behind a paywall, and reality TV, who gives a flying, what about reality TV with all this shit they put on with that? So that's all they've got these days. Is the TV changing forever? I mean, it's already on its way. It's just a matter of how long, I suppose. But I don't mind it. I welcome it. I wouldn't mind a TV situation or system where you pay for what you want. So none of these packages like you get on sort of, say Foxtel, whatever it is, and you got to pay X amount and you get all these channels as part of a package. I'd like to say, okay, well, this channel is going to cost you $10 and this one's going to cost you $5 and this one's going to cost you $3, and you just pick and choose your own package and that's what you get. I mean, really, I've got Foxtel, but the only thing I watch on it is Fox Footy and not really even the movies, Fox Footy and Fox Footy. It's about, and the boxing, of course, on Main Event. So would that be the way to go, where we just pay for whatever channels we have and they're all priced? I don't know, but I'm getting way off topic there, aren't I? Just getting Neil here, some dogs around. All right, so I've had a little bit to say recently, as everyone knows, about the tour. And I thought I'd just give you a bit of an idea of my first event in Vegas. So if you are thinking about coming, this is the reason why I really want to do it, because I want to let everyone experience what I experienced. And some of it was good and some of it was bad. Well, not bad, but some of it didn't work out exactly the way I planned. So it was on a whim, actually. It was 2009. I'd seen Manny Pacquiao, of course, obliterate Oscar De La Hoya in late 2008. And I said to my wife, she's like, I'd love to get over there. She said, well, why don't you go? And I was sort of in the back of my mind, and it got to about, I reckon, a couple of weeks beforehand in May. And I was like, you know what? I was just feeling a bit flat at work and a bit flat just in general, I suppose. And my wife, Tara, said, well, just do it. So I said, all right, well, I'm going to go. So I didn't ask anyone to go with me. I just booked my ticket and went, and thought, how good would it be to get over to Vegas and go to Pacquiao and Hatton? So I bought my ticket and went over there and got there. And I'd been to Vegas a couple of times before, but never for the boxing. So I got there and the streets were just flooded with the Poms. They were everywhere, the English people. And it's really good. They love their boxing, and the casinos were full and the bars were full, and it was a really, really good atmosphere. And everywhere you went, you heard the song, there's only one Ricky Hatton. And of course, so being an Aussie, everyone, of course, all the Americans, they can't differentiate. So, of course, everywhere I went, oh, you're here, support Ricky Hatton. Well, yeah, all right, no drama. And I was sort of denying at the start, saying, no, I'm actually an Australian. But they don't know the difference, and they don't really care too much, actually. So just come here, buddy, off the road. Cars everywhere this morning. So they didn't really care. So I just gave up in the end and said, yeah, that's me. Yeah, I'm a Pom here for Ricky Hatton, whatever. So I missed the weigh-in. Come here, man. Because I didn't know it was on. Come here, buddy. Jeez, he's after another dog over there. So I didn't know the weigh-in was on, so I missed it, and I didn't realise until I got to the fights the next day I was sitting next to some gentlemen there, and they said, oh yeah, what did you think of the weigh-in yesterday? I said, what weigh-in? I didn't know, and but they were really, really nice guys, and they sort of made the experience really good, and it was just an awesome experience. And that's probably why I'm sort of looking to do these tours, because I want people to be able to experience that and have someone with them to be able to show them the ropes, show them the sights and everything of Las Vegas, and they can do what they want. But I just want people to be able to experience and not have to be held down by, I've got no one to go with, or I've got no other boxing fans that would like to come, and I've always wanted to do it. This is why I'm doing it. I want people to be able to experience what I experienced, because sitting at the MGM Grand has been a lifelong dream of mine. Probably like a lot of you out there, I always sat back and watched the big fights and always would love to have got there. And I just did it, as I said, on a whim. I just said, right, I'm just going to do it. And I just booked my ticket and went. But I want it so that it's a little bit more controlled, so that people have the same experience and say, I'm going to go and I'm going to experience that. I'm sure everyone, or a lot of people, you guys out there, have got that on your bucket list. Well, I just want to make that be able to happen and just have someone to go with. And whether you're even, hang with me and the others for the trip, or again, that's up to you. But just to be able to go over there. And actually, I've had a guy actually contact me who just a sort of associate, is sort of a friend of a friend, and he contacted me, he must follow on Facebook, and he said, well, I'm not really a boxing fan, but I just want to go to Vegas. So if you're going, I'd love to just come with you. And he said, I'll go to the fight, that'll be good, but I'll just do my own thing. I've always wanted to go to Vegas and never had anyone to go with. So he's actually going to look to come just purely as a sort of a tag along, I suppose. He's just going to come along and come for the trip. And he said he'll go to the fight because of the experience. But other than that, he'll just do his thing. And that's great. If you want to do that as well, happy days. I'm assuming 99% of people will want to be there for the fights, and that's cool. But yeah, it's what you make of it, I suppose. And I suppose, again, I hark back to that Pacquiao Hatton event, to be sitting there at ringside. Well, I wasn't at ringside. I was probably about halfway up. But I remember sitting there thinking, I'm here, walking down the streets and hearing everyone, singing and banging the drums and the trumpets, and just being part of that big fight atmosphere. It was really a dream come true. And again, if you've ever wanted to do it, and it is on your bucket list to go to a big fight, well, you can't get much bigger than the fight we're going to go to, by the way, Crawford and Canelo. It should be massive. So there it is. That is it. But I remember just one funny story. I think I might have even told this story before, but because Ricky Hatton's supporters, of course, are all very, very vocal. They were singing and dancing and drinking all week. It was a really, really great atmosphere in Vegas. But of course, Ricky Hatton got ironed out in 2 rounds, and the Filipinos there were all dancing and singing around. I remember them after the fight in the foyer, jumping around saying, "There's no more Ricky Hatton. No more Ricky Hatton." And it was really funny because they're dancing around and jovial, and the Poms didn't really know what to make of it. Now, that had been, I don't know, Italians or Argentinians or whoever, I'm sure it would have been on. if that was the case. I'm sure that they wouldn't have taken it so well, but they didn't know how to take the Filipinos because they're such lovely people. They really are beautiful people, such jovial and friendly, and I think a few of them were looking at them going, well, what do we do here? And I think they ended up just laughing it off. But I remember thinking, this could get ugly, but how could you get mad at the Filipinos? They're such lovely people, and they were having a ball, and the man had just knocked out Ricky Hatton, so I think they saw it as respect for Manny Pacquiao. How could you not have respect for him? And I still remember the punch that he knocked out Ricky Hatton with, the crack that hit, I could hear it from where I was. And Ricky Hatton's actually spoken just recently about how it's really set him down a downward spiral. I mean, he retired after that. I know he did come back for that one fight a few years later, but how he tried to commit suicide a couple of times. He had a fallout with his mum and dad. He obviously had to retire. His relationship fell down as well with his wife or partner, whatever it was, and he was in a bad place. And that's why he's a real advocate for mental health these days, and in a lot better space. Is Ricky Hatton. So good to see. And again, it sort of just makes you wonder, about putting things in place for supporter fighters after they've finished. So anyway, I'm glad he's doing well. Is Ricky Hatton, but that was my sort of first experience in Vegas. I think we're going to go for 6 nights, but I reckon when I went, I only went for 5 nights. I actually went on the Tuesday. We're going to be going on the Monday when we go. But again, if you are thinking about it, I'll release the details soon, but have a think about it. And if you're up for it, when the details get released, make sure you get in. There will be a time frame to get in because I want to get things organised and booked and have it all ready to go so that we get good tickets and everything like that. So anyway, that is going to do it for today. Hope you have a great Saturday, and we'll catch you tomorrow.